What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today once again we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about for Destiny 2. I'm going to be going over a secret chest that requires some sort of puzzle or challenge to be unlocked. There's also a bunch of new loot rewards, activities, quests, and also my honest impressions on some of the things that I've played that I know you guys are going to want to hear about. The stream that happened today was going over some of the new locations and a bit of stuff to do there, and did pretty much that, nothing else. As I've been saying, next week's stream is the important one. That's when they'll be going over the actual updates and the changes we'll be getting in regards to the endgame economy, loot system, and even buffs and nerfs to weapons and subclasses. So all those changes and fixes I think we're all most interested in right now are going to be detailed in next week's stream, which is going to be very important to know about. So let's begin the video with that secret chest. Now, if you don't know, I was invited a couple weeks back to Bungie with all the press and media to record the expansion early and get this gameplay. That's how I have it, for those of you asking. But when I was playing, I was looking around the Lighthouse to see if there's anything new, and I found something pretty interesting. I think I was the only person to actually discover this because I asked around and nobody else seemed to know anything about it. So we don't really know much about this thing. But if you head down under the main path leading to Vance, tucked under here is actually a golden chest locked behind a barrier that you can't open, of course. So Deej actually teased this on stream. He didn't show it, but he said there's some kind of hidden secret to unlock inside the lighthouse, and this chest would be what he's talking about. So what you have to do, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. So feel free to speculate down below in the comments how you think you open the chest. I had a look around, but couldn't really find anything. I just died trying to jump down the pit. There's actually a death barrier down there, but it could be some kind of cool puzzle or challenge you have to do inside the lighthouse, or it could be something outside. Maybe something simple like open all the regional chests on Mercury and then unlocks the barrier. There is a small chance it could drop something cool or interesting, or maybe kick off an exotic quest, although that's being very hopeful. But these gold chests do normally drop some good stuff like legendaries, a few blues, shaders, sometimes an exotic engram as well. So there you go, something to be aware of. Wanted to let you guys know about it. And again, don't get your hopes up for something crazy to happen. It could be something very simple to unlock it and maybe some basic drops out of it, or it could be something more. Who knows? We'll have to wait to find out. So next up, we're going to talk about some of the new things you can do on Mercury and interacting with Brother Vance that was shown off on stream. So the first thing is going to be Lost Prophecy. So this is that forging weapon system. You can see it on the wall inside the lighthouse, and this is how you get those 11 weapons, not 12, to actually go to the little forge item thing. There's going to be 11 weapons you earn through quests, and we actually got a bit of detail on how these quests work. So from what they said, you go up to Vance and buy one of these 3 items from him, and they're going to give you the kind of quest or steps necessary to get said weapon. I don't think there's any way to tell what the weapon is unless you know what each kind of verse correlates to, but they're going to give you a bunch of items to collect around the world through activities. So one example is going to be doing strikes, and this is going to be kind of a way to incentivize you to do strikes. Definitely a step in the right direction. I want to see a ton more of this stuff. Like, it's a good start, but I want to see just loads of this kind of thing. Just making you go out into the world, do the activities. As I said loads of times, the activities are great, the content's good. We just need loads of reasons to do that stuff and things to grind for and kind of quest to chase. So it does sound pretty decent, this kind of forged quest system with these Lost Prophecies, but it is very basic in itself. So once you do some strikes or maybe open up a public event chest, you're going to get these blue items. You can also ascend them from green into blue items. You can then consume them in your inventory, and that's going to use them onto the quest. Then you go to the forge area, and it's going to drop you the gun and also highlight the kind of node or glyph on the actual wall, so you can see out of the 11 guns how many you've got. So for Prophecy verse number 3, that drops you the Jack, King, Queen 3 weapon, and this is the energy hand cannon, a secondary one. We've seen the primary hand cannon quite a lot. That's the kinetic one. That has the weird kind of recoil style that kicks straight back. This is the energy secondary gun, and it's based off an Omolon hand cannon. So again, it's in the lightweight archetype. Doesn't seem to be the best, but it's got the perk where you stow the weapon and it reloads over time. Not really a fan of that perk, to be honest. It seems okay, but I want to see a bit more adventurous perks. And the main thing that I'm a bit disappointed about is that this could have been such a good opportunity for random weapon rolls. I don't really see why Bungie doesn't have at least one set of random perks. I mean, fair enough, you don't want to have all of them be random perks, but I think there should be at least 1 or 2 sets in the game that have random perks. And with this set being from Osiris and the kind of old Vex relics, I feel like it's the perfect opportunity to have random perks every time you get it. Again, not every single weapon in Destiny, but you guys know me. I'm still a big fan of random weapon rolls. I don't think it's a perfect system, but it's definitely better than what we have right now. And I think there should be at least some small sets of at least a few, but unfortunately it's not. These do have fixed perks that are selected by Bungie designers. Now, some other weapons inside this set is also this pulse rifle. This is the kinetic one, which unfortunately is not the actual No Time to Explain. It is a reskin of the weapon, but this is not the exotic. This is the same set, so you're going to have to do the same forging kind of quest system with the Lost Prophecies to obtain this thing. We don't know its perks or what it does, but it does seem to fire pretty slowly, so I'm assuming it's a slow rate of fire, high impact pulse, or maybe the person playing was just firing really slowly, but it does seem to be that kind of pulse rifle. They also previewed a bit of gameplay of the sidearm in the same set, and then the hand cannon and pulse rifle, which we've seen before. Now, something else new is the addition of these things called heroic adventures, which are, as the name suggests, heroic versions of the same adventures we've seen. And these are actually going to have random modifiers that change the gameplay and apparently are quite difficult. Now, this, of course, goes in line with what Bungie said before about better rewards and replay value for strikes, adventures, and lost sectors. So this could be part of what they mentioned before, but we don't know what's going to be as a reward. I'm really hoping it's not simply just like a legendary item, because again, like I always say, we need some kind of incentive, some reason to grind out a heroic adventure. And the important question is, right now, people don't really play adventures. They're kind of for extra lore. So what is the reason why someone would want to do a more difficult and much more challenging version of that thing that people already don't really do very often? Now, on top of that, there is also the public event of Mercury. It's a very big and kind of expansive one. I do like how kind of mobile it is. You're moving around a lot, and it feels a lot more kind of like adaptive than most public events where you kind of sit around, shoot a thing. This is very kind of on your feet, and you're jumping around literally, as you can see, from different parts of Mercury. Now, this does cover a lot of ground. What you do in them is pretty basic. You kind of kill the gatekeepers, dunk an orb into a thing, and eventually the gate lord spawns, who you have to take down, and that is the main boss. When I took him down, I picked up an exotic engram as a reward, which was pretty cool. Not sure if I just got extremely lucky or if this happens most of the time, if it's also something changed about this event, but I did it twice in total. The first time I got the exotic, the second time I just got the normal stuff from the chest, but from himself, not the chest, is where the exotic drops. So it could be something to do with him as a major or ultra, or it could just be something extremely lucky. But as usual, that is something you can get from these events. Obviously, there are some new exotic weapons and armor pieces, which are pretty interesting in themselves. One of them I think people are really going to love. Obviously, I can't talk about them, but there's definitely some new exotic loot inside here. One of the main differences about this public event is that instead of just the one chest, you get two for some reason. I mean, the drops aren't that significantly better. It's just more tokens, more blues. Obviously, you have a much bigger chance at exotics now there's two of them, but it's still nothing massively different. Now, speaking of things that not massively different, there's also the Lost Sector. You've got a bunch of Vex down there in the room and a big Minotaur who you have to take out as a boss. And again, the chest is pretty much the same thing as Lost Sectors right now in Destiny 2. We still don't know if there's going to be heroic Lost Sectors. They didn't mention that, but they could be in the same fashion we're getting heroic adventures. But so far, they are pretty similar. There also are, of course, high-value targets. These guys are pretty strong and annoying, to be honest. They're very, very difficult, and they move really quickly, and they hit you quite hard. So these prisoner guys, they're basically a bunch of Cabal. They're being locked inside a Vex prison. They're being transported by this Minotaur guard. You take them out, unlock the prison, and these guys kind of run rampant. And like I said, they are pretty annoying, quite strong, but they're similar to most high-value targets. So they drop a chest with your standard loot rewards. Now, when I was recording this gameplay, it was actually back during the faction rally, and that was when it was going on. So even inside this private test build, the faction rally was still happening. So you could see some of those events happening. So where you have to claim the supplies for the city with the Cabal dudes and capturing the zones. The same thing is going to happen here on Mercury during the faction rally event. So next up, let's talk about the Infinite Forest. Now that's actually been revealed, I can talk about it, my thoughts and experiences, because I've gone through it probably 7 or 8 times now. I know it pretty well, so I can let you know what it's like and how it fits into the gameplay. So you're going to go through the Infinite Forest quite a lot, loads of the campaign missions, both strikes, adventures, quests, patrols. So it's a big part of Mercury, and you will be using it quite often because it's the pathway to the present, past, and future. And that's pretty much the best way to think of it, simply a path to those places. Now, honestly, in my opinion, the Infinite Forest didn't really blow me away. I wasn't that impressed by it. And all the trailers has been hyped up to be this big kind of cool area, but it's pretty much just a path to the past, present, and future. Now, I do like how it's sort of random. So each time you're going to get a different combination of sections with different layouts. So in the gameplay, when you see them going up to a white gate, that spawns a different section, and it's also going to be random which one you'll get. But they're all pretty similar, nothing too drastically crazy, just different layouts and platforms. And the gate to spawn the next section is, of course, in a different spot. So you can randomly get each of the enemy races in here. So Hive, Vex, Cabal, Fallen. Not sure about Taken, maybe them as well. But these sections are handcrafted by the designers. The order of them is what's random and different each time. So there's normally about 5 or 6 sections before you can finally reach the past or present or future, wherever you're trying to go. My main issue is that it is literally just a path to those trees and nothing much more. It's the past, present, and future, which are actually really cool in themselves. I'll say now the past is definitely one of my favorite areas in all of Destiny. It's just amazing inside there. And one of the strikes also takes place in the past. But to be honest, the Infinite Forest does end up being a bit of an obstacle, just getting in the way of the cool places you do want to go. So most of the time you do just end up running past the enemies and holding square and the barriers to spawn the next section. There is zero purpose to killing the enemies, so everyone I talked to ended up just walking past the enemies as well, because there's no reason why you should sit there and shoot the enemies when you've got a place to go. I was level 306 or 7, they aren't that powerful either, so you can just run past them every time pretty easily. Sometimes though, the gate is going to be locked and you do have to kill these special enemies called demons, which are highlighted in red. So they're a bit stronger, but in my playthrough, the gate was rarely ever locked. It was most of the time, they were simply unlocked and you could go through, just hold square on the gate and they're white. But sometimes the gate will be red and you have to kill the demon to unlock it. So I'm not sure if Bungie thought we would want to spend all the time actually shooting all the enemies when you can just walk through in 5 minutes. But I guarantee you when you play this, you're just going to go past the enemies and unlock the gates because they just slow you down really. But yeah, the Infinite Forest is a weird one. I like how it's slightly different each time. The sections are kind of randomly generated, but it is definitely not the highlight of Mercury. It's the past, present, and future, which are the real cool places. The Infinite Forest is more like a pathway towards them. So as always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of everything I've mentioned. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support the channel, then leaving a like rating down below before you go would be much appreciated. As always, stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And until then, if you want to watch some more early DLC gameplay and some new info from me, then click the image on screen to watch that video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.